In Paul's first letter to Timothy, he gives instructions to pastors and leaders on public worship in church. And interestingly, one of the very first things he says is to pray for your leaders, specifically to pray for your government. So let's talk about that. Here's how to pray for your government in a biblical way. First of all, don't pray against your leaders, pray for them. This goes for non-Christian leaders too, just like it did back in Paul's day. After all, Paul's governing authorities were way worse than any of them that we have here in our country today. 1 Timothy 2:1, it says, I urge you first of all to pray for all people, and look at how you're supposed to pray for them. Ask God to help them, intercede on their behalf, and give thanks for them, even if you didn't vote for the guy. This is something that we should be doing in our churches. Now, as we read on, we're going to learn that Paul also tells us to pray that our government doesn't make it hard for Christians to be Christians. This is important today, especially in America. Verse 2 says, pray this way for kings and all who are in authority, so that we can live peaceful and quiet lives marked by godliness and dignity. From a biblical perspective, this is the responsibility of our government, is to make sure that we have a society where people can hear the gospel. So let's be praying for that in our churches. Number 3, pray that more people would come to know Jesus no matter who is in power. This is what I see in verses 3 and 4. Paul says, this is good and pleases God our Savior, who wants everyone to be saved and to understand the truth. Let's remember, we're not trying to politicize our churches. We're trying to keep the main thing the main thing. And this right here, according to Paul, according to the rest of the Bible, this right here is the main thing. It's all about God's kingdom. It's not about any kind of earthly kingdom. And one more thing, and we have to travel a little bit further down to find this point. Pray with confidence, not with anger, and don't stir up controversy with your prayer. We get that in verse 8 as we read further down. In every place of worship, Paul says, I want men to pray with holy hands lifted up to God, free from anger and controversy. What a great thing to remember as we are going to our churches and praying publicly for our government and its leaders. So pastors, leaders, elders in our churches, let's make a regular habit of praying for our leaders, whether we voted for them or not.